Hi, everybody. This is Jason from Sweaty Heroes, and today I'm going to talk to you about Batman and from DC, Azrael, and the New Warriors. So let's go in that order. So first of all, we got these were all from the dollar bin, or if you bought like a box, it'd be like you can get them really a lot more cheaper. These were found at a local comic shop called the Local Comic Shop from Windsor, Ontario, in Canada, Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Detective Comics anniversary issue 627. So this is a big issue, but because it was not an Airman issue, I could get it for $1, and even the cover price at that time was $3.50. It's a really good anniversary issue. A lot of great stories of the Batman, including a reprint of the first appearance, and then other people who tell the same story. Kind of cool. Then we have, in our Batman theme, we have a couple Batman issues from the of Batman Shadow of the Bat, and this is during the right after the Knight's End storyline. So Knights of Fall and Knight's End being where John Paul Valley Azrael takes over the Bat suit and became Batman. Right after that storyline, you had Dick Grayson become Batman for about 3 months, and this storyline called Prodigal, where he fought Two Face. And these were really a lot of fun. I remember buying them back in the 90s and really enjoying it. Alan Grant writing the stories, Brett Blevins on art. This is like Batman's prime time, was a lot of the stuff that's in the 90s. Nightwing by Chuck Dixon and Scott McDaniel. I've heard great things about Nightwing's run, his run, and I like that costume on Nightwing. It was really good. It looks really cool. And Nightwing had a long running series back in the 90s as well. So did a lot of the Batman family characters like Robin and also. Speaking of Nightfall, this is actually from that. One of the crossovers from that, and actually is numbered in part 13. And the lead story is focused on Two Face, but there are anthologies. Showcase was they brought back Showcase in the 93 based on the anthology series from the 50s and 60s. But they made it an anthology that had many different stories with like and in 93, the lead one was a Batman character, a family character, and then they had other characters from across the universe. What's interesting for me is that Deathstroke the Terminator and Peacemaker is in this, and in 1993, I had no idea who Peacemaker is, and it wasn't until like a couple of years ago when the new Suicide Squad movie came out and they talked about Peacemaker that it really okay. I'm kind of, I mean, I'd seen a few issues of the Charlton comic or seen him running around, but like didn't really know who character was until 20 years or 3 years later. So there's always characters that you don't know from the DC universe, and this is of course Mr. Bill I can't pronounce his name, Sikiewicz, doing the cover here, and Klaus Janson does the art for this, and Doug Moench does the story. And then we got more from DC. We have a Birds of the Prey from the New 52 era, where they brought back Batgirl, who had been crippled by the Joker in the post-crisis run. But there's another Batgirl that book. And then speaking of Azrael, we have some issues of Azrael. We have Azrael number 11, and all these are by Dennis O'Neil, who was the editor on DC Comics, and I really thought Azrael was an interesting character. His book lasted 100 issues, really amazing, and so it would be really interesting to read just the journey that character went through of identity and trying to figure out who he was. This is part of the Bruce Wayne Fugitive, another big Batman crossover series that happened. Pretty cool. This one crosses them over with The Question. That looks like the Vic Sage version. And then this was an annual. They did it was a theme, not like a crossover, but the theme was pulp heroes. So even though the heroes might not be pulp heroes themselves, they were doing those stories in a pulp hero flavor. So this is a Azrael issue of that. And then from the Marvel side, we have the New Warriors. And so we have New Warriors, a copy of this issue of New Warriors, 49. And for their brief time, the Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly, Spider-Man's clone, joined the New Warriors. But they had a lot of great characters. And these are some of the later books. And but I really enjoy the New Warriors as a team of young heroes in the Marvel universe. Some of them you know, some of them you don't know. but they had characters like Darkhawk and Night Thrasher, and then some of those characters got mini-series and their own spin-offs, like Night Thrasher, and Night Thrasher was one of the main team leaders. Then our Night Thrasher, and this is issue 8, 9? It's hard to read sometimes. Night Thrasher, and then we have another Night Thrasher. And then it's actually interesting to note that Nova had a book in the 70s first, but then came back and had another book during his time on the New Warriors. So here we go with Nova and his books and his comic series. And then that's what we got today. And then also I'm going to throw in, just because I have a little bit extra time here, Silver Sable. And I love Silver Sable. I really like the character. Silver Sable was a mercenary who used to fight Spider-Man. They were going to make a Silver Sable movie, and I think that they could have done it and not have to tie it in with Spider-Man so much. But we'll see. Well, hopefully by the time you've seen this video for the 100 years from now, or 50 years from now, or 20 years from now, there'll be a Silver Sable movie. But Silver Sable, cool. She just has silver hair, and she's, kind of Russian, really. And she's just a strong woman. But when she's written well, she has a lot of three-dimensional complexity of who she is. Her strong exterior, hiding vulnerability and compassion underneath it all. But yeah, she has strong morals too. She's not just a mercenary. She's a mercenary, but she's doing it because she's trying to provide for her whole country, right? Samaricaria. And there's issue 31, and Sandman was on the team at that time. He was a good guy, and there we have Sandman. And this one is fun because it is an Infinity War crossover where she fights a Doombot. And I remember really enjoying this as a kid, and really enjoying the Infinity War series. Now, if you ever find the Infinity War series, it was a lot of fun. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, Infinity Gauntlet is infinitely better, but Infinity War, with them fighting all these double gangers, was a lot of fun. Have fun going into the Sweaty Hero comic books and Infinity bargains. Thanks.